Hello guys, welcome to another video where I'm doing an after game commentary, a replay commentary, to tell you about what my thoughts were during this game where I thought I did pretty well. We'll talk about what my objectives were, how my champion matchup is, how I should be playing certain things, and just telling you what I'm thinking about. What I think is most important to think about during each of these stages of the game. So, starting off, I'm playing Ryze versus Azir in the mid lane. The first thing to note is they're both control mages, both scale really well, both have kind of meh early games. Ryze spends a lot of mana early on, so he's forced to buy mana items. Not so much with Azir, he can get away with buying Luden's Echo, and mostly just building AP. But Ryze is kind of it's a necessity to build tier into Xeraths, and often possibly another mana item if necessary. But I just tend to buy Xeraths at the moment. But yeah, depending on patch to patch and how they change the mana, and sometimes he buys Rod of Ages as well. But it's not very good in this patch. In case you didn't already know, it's really not worth it. You should probably just invest in something like Morello's or Leandri's. But I'll get into the build path later. So I'm against an Azir. Something I initially notice and disagree with is that the Azir is taking Ignite. I have no idea why he's decided to take Ignite. It's kind of disrespectful, to be honest. I mean, this isn't a serious game, so I'm not expecting too much. But yeah, it's very optimistic of him to take Ignite in this lane because he is a poke champion that doesn't do that well early, so I don't expect him to be getting me that low. And also I'm Ryze with natural built-in shields into my kit, and also his jungler is a Nunu, whose ganks are not very good. He's much more potent at farming and objective control and things like this, but his ganks really aren't that good. So I disagree with the Ignite choice. I think that he probably should have taken either heal or TP or possibly cleanse. Some people like to take cleanse against Ryze. We don't have that much CC outside of me and the Renekton and a bit on Karma, so you could possibly have taken cleanse here if you were scared. But I think taking heal or teleport is also fine. But yeah, Ignite really bad. The rest of the people in this game, we've got a pushing bot lane with a very high damage at level 1, so they want to be abusing the Sivir, who's more of a late game scaling crit AD, and trying to dodge around the Sorok Qs and deal as much damage as possible in the early stages. In the jungle matchup, Graves clears really well, stays very healthy, and is happy to fight the Nunu. Obviously the Nunu's probably got better objective control with his consume, but other than that, I think that it's not really worth having a Nunu at the moment. I don't think it's that important, and I don't think that the AP build is that good, but if he gets ahead of the AP build, it can be kind of annoying. And then we've got a Ignite Renekton versus Malphite top. So if this guy does not get ahead, then he's going to be completely useless later on because Malphite massively outscales him, and Malphite just comes in and ults someone, and he's already more useful than the Renekton in the remainder of the team fight. So we know that we need to get top lane ahead. We know that we have a winning jungle matchup probably. This is kind of an even mid lane matchup, and then we have a pushing bot lane. So let's get into the game now that I've established some of the things that we can view in champ select. So I'll fast forward through the just the initial spread. If you are not aware, where teams should actually fan out to in a normal 5-man spread, each of the jungle entrances here, 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 and here, and on the red side, here, 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 and here, and then obviously one in mid as well. So that covers all the entrances and means that you get maximum information. Obviously, this is not serious, so people don't follow that competitive mindset of being ready. Not only not doing it, but not being ready at level 1 before minions are spawned to actually play the game. I watched for the topside invade because it was a Nunu, and he's often known to cheese and try and grab early buffs away from the enemy jungler, so I thought there was a possibility of it. Turns out that the Nunu is bot, because we've got a ward on it, we know. And we're just going to start the early lane with Azir. He does tend to push you in as Ryze, especially at the early levels. You've just got to try and deal with that, try and get your harass in when it's a good time. I think that this matchup becomes better after your first base for sure. I actually think in the first couple of levels that Azir kind of has the advantage. You kind of need your 3 spells. Here I'm trying to pressure him as much as possible, maybe taking a bit too much damage in return. But I managed to freeze the wave so it doesn't bounce off the turret, which is not too bad. So he's managing to pick me up pretty well here in the early lane, which is obviously a problem for me. Now I do have TP, which is why I'm kind of not panicking at this point. While he does have a advantage of health, I'm okay with that at the moment. You see, I step up there, and now that I've got my 3 abilities, then I WEQ him. Unfortunately, a minion walked in front of the Q, so it didn't do as much damage as I'd like. And I'm kind of just spamming my mana at this point because I know that I have TP in the back. And this is why I do think TP on Ryze is almost essential sometimes to get you through that before tier base and not have to miss a wave for it. It's just so important. So I've spammed all my mana, I'm out of mana, so I need to go back. I've managed to stay even in farm, which is okay. So the Nunu is going around counter jungling, and my Renekton gets first blood on the Malphite. I didn't look at how that happened, and my bot lane also gets a kill on Silver as well. So pretty good. Now my jungler sees their jungler trying to invade him. I look to go to help him out, but in the end I didn't think that it was going to be worth it to... I didn't think that I was going to be able to get in range to chase the jungler down. I go for it again, but I just don't think that the Nunu is going to get caught by me, so I just pushed away instead. Then my jungler decides at very low health to try and contest the walls. I come over to save him because he might have died in that circumstance, and the Azir tries to fight me out. I think away from the wave where the Qs are, where my Qs are not going to get blocked by minions. I'm perfectly fine taking a trade with, and then my amazing jungler decides to back on a ward. So the Azir goes in and randomly has ignite, so he's able to finish off the Graves, and you see how I managed to get the E on. Then once I had the E, I knew that I could flash Q for the 2-second route and wait for my E to come back up again, and then I EQ for the kill. So I had to burn flash for that, and my jungler died, so it wasn't that ideal, but I do manage to push in the wave, and this denies him some gold and XP. So, completely out of mana. I need to rip back again. Important to note as well, there's an Infernal Drake up, so this is what I'm looking at as I'm backing. I'm going, okay, there's an Infernal Drake up, maybe I roam bottom, make a play there, and that will get us a free Drake, because of a numbers advantage. I am going to be building from tier into a Lost Chapter and just going straight for the Seraph. Why not? I think it's the best options for Ryze at the minute. And he just really desperately needs mana as fast as possible to be able to spam his stuff, otherwise he's useful for about 1 minute and then he needs to back. So that's just the state of Ryze at the minute. So my jungler is trying to make a play for bot, but they're not having it. I return back to lane. You see how I pushed the lane into his tower, and now it's bounced all the way back to my tower. This is exactly what I wanted to happen when I pushed the lane in the first place. I get to soak up a big wave of gold and XP. And I got all but one of the minions, which means that I'm doing really well for farm. I'm ahead of the Azir in farm, and I'm also ahead of a level of him. So things are going really well so far. Now, because I have mana, I can start pushing by double E-ing and queuing the wave, which is really good. They're not even looking to properly gank me. The Nunu just kind of runs across my lane. I deal a big chunk of damage to him in return, and the Karma and the Graves just happen to be there. Give me a free kill. I go for a kind of ambitious play, trying to get me and the Karma in there with the Azir. I knew he had dash, but I wasn't sure if I could catch him with my root beforehand. It turns out he's okay enough at Azir to remember to dash away, and I just take my 1 kill. So now that that's happened, I've pushed my lane, and while the Azir is pushing in return, I go to get the Infernal Drake. I start it up. Would have been really nice for my jungle to give me the blue there, because I am kind of low on mana. But you know what? That's okay. So we have Kalista here, and there's none of them contesting, so I know that I can leave and hopefully just go and pick up the last dregs of XP and gold from my wave. So I do exactly that, and I push the next one as well, knowing that it's most likely that the Azir is in base, which he was. So while doesn't seem like anything major has happened in the last couple of minutes, we managed to push out and get Infernal Drake, which is really good. I also threw out a ping to show that my mid lane is missing. It's a good idea to do this while you're in base. Even if you think that they're in base and they haven't returned to lane yet, just throw out 1 ping. You don't have to be spam pinging, but it's possible that they could literally just go straight from base to another lane, so just a little bit aware of that, and it should be absolutely fine. So I return back to lane. Me and the Azir are kind of going even on farm at the moment, but soon is where it's all going to change. I feel like I have enough mana now to start properly fighting him. He's mostly just going to poke me out and disengage. My jungler is here, but it's warders, and so the Azir knows, as they can see. So I decided to go into the bot side jungle, just place a bit of vision down and some control vision. Oh, this annoyed me so much. So just going back a little bit. Not that far. So I push out the wave, and I go and get bot side vision. So while this happens, while my jungle sees me get bot side vision, he dashes in to contest the raptors, and unsurprisingly then gets collapsed on by the closer mid laner and killed. Now you can't see it, but he then proceeded to flame me in chat for not following him. this was strictly a mistake from the Graves to imagine that I could follow that hard and that quickly, given that I was already pathing down to bot side, and possibly there's a little bit of intuition from me to know that he was about to do that. But he really should have thrown out a ping to say, okay, I'm going to do something risky in this top side, I need you with me. And also, he really didn't have to dash in either. If he just walked up, maybe queued the chickens, autoed, and then he still had his E to escape the Azir wall, but whatever. So anyway, I push out the lane and go for a roam. It's a 3v3 right now, but I know the Graves is coming. I am doing a lot of damage, but I do need to be respectful of their damage as well. So I flash out of the Nuno ult, and this is quite a messy fight, to be honest. But I managed to get several of my rotations out. Ryze is really good in these long, elongated teamfight situations, because if he can get several of his rotational spells out, with his short cooldowns, he'll usually win out on those trades and manage to get multiple roots off. So we're both back looking at wounds. It's possible that if I had a bit better target acquisition, that we could have killed a few more there, but it wasn't too bad all in all. So I TP back mid. Unfortunately, the Malphite is now 0-3, so to completely sack off his own lane and his tower in exchange for my tower, which is a good play by him, but it just sucks for me, so I lost my tower off of a couple of roams, but it does feel a little bit unfortunate, especially given how strong that I feel I am right now. But anyway, I finished my Seraphs, and the Azir still hasn't finished his item yet. Maybe it's because he hasn't based, but regardless, that is the truth. So then, while I'm pinging that my mid is missing, my first decides to get really low and gives a free kill to my mid laner. It's just simply misplays from my AD carry, and I look at bot to see if I can hold it, but given there's 4 members and they have a really good poke with Sivir, Soroka, Azir, I really don't want to be walking into that and trying to defend it. I think I might just die trying to do that, so instead I choose to push out mid, then get a bit of vision in our jungle, and then go and push the next wave as well. So this is the kind of play pattern with Ryze a lot of the time, is once you get your mana items and you can begin to EQ the wave a lot, then you can really easily just push out and roam. And well, you can try and 1v1 as well, but sometimes 1v1 it can be difficult against 1v1 champions, or you feel like you spend too much mana for it. So sometimes it is better to just roam, and your ulti is really good at that, and you can provide CC. 2-second root is a long time. It's a really good gank. So I get a bit of some hits on mid turret because I don't think I need to back. I'm pretty high on mana and health, and I don't have a lot of gold. And then I see this play developing over in bot side. I knew that from before that the Sivir didn't use spell shield until slightly later than I expected, so I just decided to root her immediately, rather than wait the spell shield out. And then she would spell shield my E, but that's totally fine because my E is up in a couple of seconds anyway, so I'd much rather my E be spell shielded than my root. So I rooted her, we killed them both, and then my AD carry decides to int into the enemy team's tower. So that means that we can't get the bottom tower anymore. But since we were already doing the Infernal Drake second one of the game, then we managed to get that without a problem. Okay. So my mana's getting a little bit low. I'm not sure whether to go for the mid tower here or help out with this bot lane play. But this looks pretty over. I decided to go down anyway, but I don't think that I commit to this. Because I don't think that I have an ulti yet. No, I don't. There was some nerfs to Ryze's ulti. I mean, why aren't there nerfs to Ryze? But there was some nerfs to his ult cooldown, which meant that my ult wasn't up for display, and I would have liked it to be, but I just show my support and solidarity for my amazing Callista, and peace out. Meanwhile, my top laner is doing amazingly well and pressing down on the inhibitor turret, so he's going to be drawing a lot of pressure. I could have backed for item and mana, but I see that my top laner is pushing up to the inhibitor turret, and that means that it's going to be a free lane for me because they're all going to be walking up to the Renekton. Oh, I actually decided to back here. I think this is strictly a mistake. I think that they're all going to be going after the Renekton right now, so I could have possibly got this tower while they were all doing that. Bit of awareness issues there, and maybe a bit of lack of vision within their jungle. I can see that the jungle is pretty dark. We only really have my own defensive vision that I set up, and the Renektons. So now that we've reached the kind of mid-game stages, I have gone into my Oblivion Orb and my Boots of Lucidity. I think this is a really nice buy. I'm ahead, so I think the Lucidity boots are good. And I could have also possibly bought Merc Treads for the Malphite ultimate and the Nunu slow and things like that, but I don't think it was that good. So the Azir sets up a turret and is playing very aggressively against me. Did you see how I used my E to not only clear out the wave, but also to trade with him? He goes for an all-in on me, and I flash over to where I know that the Karma is waiting to give me an E shield, and we managed to get that kill. I could have played that a little better by flashing the Azir wall altogether, but it works out okay in the end. I think that buying this magic penetration is really good on Ryze. Ever since I was introduced to the idea, I have found it to be really good. I'm not sure whether I prefer this or going into Haunting Guise for the increased damage over time. I think it probably depends on the comp that you're playing against. If you're looking for more one-shot potential with a single WEQ combo, then I think that the magic penetration is probably better. If you're going to be having more extended fights against beefy tanks, then I think that the Haunting Guise is probably better. This game I decided to go for the magic pen. Most of their team is pretty squishy, especially as the Malphite is playing AP, and so is the Nunu. So anyway, sorry about that. While I was talking, I missed out on the next play of mine. So while I see that my Graves is currently so in the Rift Hold is found by the Nunu, I decided to go for an all-in trade against the Azir, and this time I managed to use my move speed, dodge out the Azir, and he's dead. I still had my Seras as well, so I wasn't too worried. So I managed to win that all-in, and Graves heralds mid. Now, I do see this, but I also see that there's a possible play to go on bottom, so I decided to TP to that ward. And it doesn't really go that well. They did a lot more damage than I originally anticipated, and I couldn't really follow up that well. But I managed to back out, go back into the realm warp. Don't get anything out of it, but I don't think that's a bad play to look for. I think I could have executed a little better by not getting hit by the Soraka Q, and I think I got hit by the Sivir Q as well. But this play doesn't work out. It's not the end of the world. I'm really looking to just basically win my bot lane the game for them, because they've proven that they really can't win the 2v2 against the Sivir and the Soraka. They've gotten about 3 ganks from me and another 2 from the Graves, and they're still not in a winning matchup when they should be winning in the early game. So my bot lane I know is really bad, but I'm just trying to win the lane for them and kill their lane opponents. And this is kind of where it feels bad for their enemy bot lane, because there's not really a lot that they could have done in this game. They just kind of got steamrolled by no one else having any pressure. I actually don't really go and help my Renekton much in this game, although he had a good game of pressuring. So I push out my wave, and then I go and look for another bottom roam. Like I said, I just want to get my bot lane this tower. The Sivir does see this coming, but I decide to call for the dive anyway. She flashes, I use my E, which she spell shields. I still haven't used my root, I don't think. I didn't get a chance to in the end. So I know all of them are coming right now. And I think that, apparently I don't know all of them are coming, because I feel surprised by that. I think they were a bit closer than I expected, but me being Ryze helps in these scenarios. Them having Soraka hurts, because I think they would have died if they didn't have a Soraka. So this play goes wrong in the end, probably because of a little bit of greediness from me, although it was very close. And if the Renekton had TP, then he could have TP'd and swung that fight there, but it was a really close one. So as a reward for that misplay, the red team get a Mountain Drake. Just joking, the Graves is on a mad one and decides to steal Drake and double kill them. The Graves obviously just putting in work there. Let's see how this 1v1 goes down. Oh, that's kind of sad. Sad for the Graves. He played that well up till the point where he died. But anyway, so I respawn, come back out onto the map. I'm building a Fiendish Codex for what I assume I'm going to be building into Zhonya's. Either that or a Banshee's Veil, which I think a Banshee's Veil would be pretty good here because they have a lot of poke, and the Malphite ultimate will be a big problem to me later in the game, and if I remember it does end up being a problem to me. So now I'm looking to get this bot lane tier 2 tower. I just group up with my team and siege it. I think that I could be pushing mid first, but I decide that I'm strong enough to the point where I think that I can just take on whoever comes, and I get so close to killing a Malphite. That's the kind of reward for the magic pen item. Is that because he's not tanky, he's really can't take those hits. So this is a good play by me overall. I do manage to get a double kill on the back end of this, but unfortunately the Graves does not come, and the Renekton does not come. Not that I expect the Renekton to come, but I expect the Graves to. I think that it was a mistake and to just leave that to dry, to be honest. He could have come for the kill and cleaned up all of these really low enemies, and he's really fat. But anyway, he decides to get the inhibitor as a consolation prize for us dying. We definitely could have won the fight if he came, seeing as I got a double kill towards the start of it. So anyway, they get 2 inhibs down, and if I remember correctly, there's a lot of clowning around in the second half of this game, so I probably will wrap this up soon, because we spend about 10 to 15 minutes literally just running it down before finally getting all of the inhibs, then going back for Baron and Elder, and then basically no one had the confidence to end the game, so we all just pace around outside their base. So I'm not really interested in showing you that because that's not very useful or informative. I just wanted to show you how I managed to snowball from mid lane into a winning game, and how the wave control of Ryze and his good trading power can allow him to really get ahead, and how the push and roam technique is really potent and powerful on Ryze, to allow you to have more impact on the map compared to your lane opponent. So, following another 10-20 minutes of I think we could have ended the game here. This is a death by me right here, so I'm not going to show it. Okay, I'll show it. But this is me just disrespecting Malphite Ultimate a little bit too hard. I was in the mindset of me being able to 1v3, but the Malphite just ults me. And it's that simple. But eventually we finish off the game by getting the Baron, like I said. And then following us killing the Baron, we push the waves. They've got 3 nibs down. And there's some random fighting that goes on with where the Callista dies. She should not be dying in this situation. We get a trade kill for the Malphite. So I decided it's a good time to run walk my team in, restart the fight off again. It's quite a messy fight. I play this fairly well up until this point right here, where I stepped way too far forward and I have to flash away. Like I said, very messy fight where literally everyone on the map ends up dying, apart from me. I did most of the damage in that last fight, but this was definitely not a game which I played too cleanly. I just wanted to point out some of the good things and bad things that I thought about during this game. Thank you for watching. I hope it helped you to understand what you need to improve with. As always, I'm learning as well, so we can learn together from these replays. And thank you for your time.